Good morning, everyone.
Hey, Rikita, good morning.
Morning.
I just pinged Yang and Allison on Slack. So let's just wait until we see that they're going to join or not. Hey, Allison.
Hello.
I've just added the meeting notes to the chat. So if you could add your names in the attendees list, that would be great. Yang just said that he'll be joining us. So let's just wait a couple of minutes for him.
Hello. Just 1 second. Let me claim the host and start recording.
Cool. Sure. So welcome everybody to the January 16th Asia Pacific Contributor Experience meeting. So we do have a code of conduct, so please remember to be excellent to each other. And I don't really see any new contributors on the line. So we'll skip the introductions. Um, so yeah, let's just move right on to the next point in the agenda. I had a quick note about Kubernetes Forums India, depending on what was discussed in the last meeting. So we will not be having any so if you've been following Kubernetes Forums India, you might have also heard that there won't be any co-located events this time round, and it's just like a one-day conference. So we will also not have any contributor-focused co-located events. But I think we can all just like meet up at the conference. Um, I've been talking to organizers of the Bangalore meetup, and we might have a meetup like a weekend before the conference. But uh, that's not going to be like contributor focused, but we can all just meet up there and I don't know, hang out later even after the meetup. So that's kind of the plan about it. Does anyone have questions, comments, or concerns regarding Kubernetes Forums India?
I guess we had a discussion on Slack regarding this. We were planning to meet in Kabban Park or something, somewhere outside and have a casual chit chat. But I don't know what happened to that.
Right. So I think we might do that. I'm not entirely sure. So the idea is that we'll definitely have the meetup in the morning, the weekend prior to Kubernetes Forums India. And we might meet up in the park later on in the evening, but I am actually not sure if like who's organizing it, who's going to be taking in charge of everything. Um, and I think we could like focus more on that. Or think more about the logistics nearer to the conference because that sounds pretty ad hoc anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and since I guess the reason was because we don't want to make it contributor specific. We want to just keep it like
Right.
people
Yeah.
just come and chat.
Yeah.
Also, Kaban Park is a lot far from the conference venue.
Oh, I did not
It's
know
really
that.
far.
Too far.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds problematic. Yeah, I think we could all like just discuss about this more on this in-depth Slack channel as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nikita, do we have a count on that? How many people would be attending? I don't know if CNCF keeps that or they share that.
I do have an estimate, but I'm not sure if I can share it. So
Okay.
this was like, I think I could just like give rough estimates. There are very few people, compared to Bangalore, who have registered for Delhi. But this was before January 10th, and I'm pretty sure we saw a lot of spike in registrations in January 10th because of the price deadline that they had imposed initially.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in like mid 400s. So they're expecting Bangalore to be sold out. So I don't think like the attendance in Bangalore should be a problem. Though Delhi sounds a little concerning for obvious reasons because there isn't much of a tech uh, scenario in Delhi.
Yep. Thanks.
Sure. Any other questions, comments, or concerns regarding Kubernetes Forums India? Okay. Before we move on to the next one, I saw that there was some things added in the recent contributions, meetups, blogs from the community. I'm not sure who added that. Sayam, was it you? Do you want to talk about it?
Hello.
Yeah,
Am I
we can
audible?
hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the one that is happening on 18th of January is at SAP Labs, and it's featuring mix of Docker and Kubernetes talks and Kubernetes 101 workshop. So that's entirely free meetup, and we have over 2,000 registrations. So we're expecting around 500 folks to attend. And another one is happening the next week. Again, a lot of Kubernetes focused talks. There are two meetups. I'm trying to find the other link. One is in the morning and one is in the evening. So two meetups. Evening one is more focused on the Python SDKs and the Golang stuff for Kubernetes. More focused towards the Python one. I think that was shared by Suraj in Slack as well. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, so these are the one, and I'm not sure. One of my blogs got published in Rancher. So I mean, yeah, that's on Istio and Istio, Kiali, and Yager, um, featuring all of those. So yeah, that's it from I think my side.
That's pretty cool. And hi, Paris. So, did you actually say that there are going to be 200 people or 500
Yep,
people?
yep.
That's practically a conference.
Yeah, so the Docker meetup usually ends up as a conference because we have around 8 speakers and it's a workshop as well. So it's from morning 9 to 5. So kind of a 1 day conference, you can say.
Wow, that's impressive. Cool. Does anyone have questions for Sayam?
So if anybody is in Bangalore, please do attend.
Yeah. Yang, do you want to add a point about the Tokyo meetup?
Yeah, so there is a meetup group here in Tokyo. Recently, we had a serious ritual on the KubeCon San Diego. So I did go there and talk about some talks back in San Diego about contributor focused. It was a very successful meetup, and we had about, I think, maybe 300 people there. And they usually have 4 or 5 talks per meetup, and they do this. I think they do this monthly, but they really have contributor-related talks there. I think we might be able to encourage them to do this.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, I think we should also like include all of this in the blog posts that we intend to do. Yeah, so moving on, like before the blog post, does anyone have any other meetups or I don't know, contributions or something that they want to talk about, especially relating to the Asia Pacific regions?
I just added the Kubernetes OpenShift meetup link, the extending Kubernetes one.
Oh yeah, thanks about that. Okay, moving on to the blog posts. Yang, do you want to talk about this a bit more? Because I know there were some discussions about it in the last meeting.
Sure. So back in San Diego, we meet with some other contributors from Japan, and I discussed this with them. Also said back in a few meeting back. So the idea is I think a large part of contributors in APAC regions, they might be too shy to join the video streaming session. So the suggestion about blog post was come back there, and we think it's a good start to do this, to provide contributor related content to all the users or contributors in APAC regions. But we haven't officially planned on this, so I might be able to open an issue and do more on the planning stuff.
That would be great. An issue would definitely be great. I think we might, excuse me, we might need sign off from SIGDocs since they own the blog, that we can do a blog post series like this. But I don't think there
Yes.
should be any objections to it, honestly. But yeah, like an issue would be
totally
nice.
fine. Yeah, it'll be totally fine.
Awesome.
As long as you give them a heads up and then they plan around major things that they already know, then it'll be fine for sure.
Yay. Cool. So I guess the first next step is to get an issue out. And I was wondering, like, if we should like focus each blog post to like limit each blog post to each country, like talking about contributors from, I don't know, China or Japan or India, whatever. And interview some contributors and just like make it more generalized towards one country, so that like whenever we publish that blog post, we can target people from a particular country and hope for like more engagement from there. Or does anyone have more ideas on this?
I would do regions and not countries, just because of the sheer number of blog posts you would end up having. So I would try to like lump together a few countries. That's just my take.
Yeah, that does sound interesting. I mean, I feel like, yeah, we could definitely do that. I feel like we have a huge contributor base in China, Japan, Indonesia, Korea. Maybe I'm missing some more. Yeah, but we could definitely decide like which countries we want to lump together or whatever. Cool. And I was also wondering if we could like do India near to the Kubernetes Forums conference. That's like the third week of February, so that, you know, we could get more engagement that way. Yang, do you want to take up the task of creating an issue?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. And then in the issue, we could also probably discuss which countries we want to start out with, or which regions we want to start out with, and how we want to structure the blog post. We'll also we'll also need contributors from that region to be involved. So we'll also need volunteers. Any more questions, comments, concerns regarding blog posts? I'll take that as a no. Piyush, you had something to discuss regarding contributor experience on discussing with contributor experience on taking tips for growth.
Yeah, so I basically wanted to have an open discussion on that part, since we have been meeting for quite some time now, and I just wanted to see how we can grow. I mean, the way say ContribEx has done, the meeting our contributors and office hours and all those things. Probably we can take something out of that and implement here that can help us grow as well. I mean, Paris is there, you have been part of that. I guess Yang was also there. So probably we can get some discussion on that and get started replicating those things in APAC specific terms. Is that possible?
I think you're doing great. I mean, that's my take as far as growth is concerned. I think you haven't gotten legs off the ground as far as marketing, but we have a marketing team that's coming into place soon for upstream topics. And I just said that in Zoom chat as well on another topic. So I feel like once you have some more marketing legs behind you, you do these blog pushes, people just need to know that you're here and what you do. And I think that's going to lead more people to the group. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm here just because I think this is a great group, and there's SIGs that have less participants on their weekly meetings than this group right now. So I think you're doing good as far as contributor growth is concerned for given what you've achieved to date.
Okay, I mean, any part on the content part as well. I mean, we can definitely get started with blog post. Anything else that we can do? I guess Sayam posted on the podcast as well. Probably.
I mean, I think meet our contributors is good, but I know Yang said that things were paused there, and you would have to get more of the celebrity drawl at first to draw it into that time. So you would have to do a little bit more curation than what you would initially think for that. But I mean, that's something I can also help out with. Or I can at least guide you to how to set up your first, meet our APAC, meet our contributors, if you will. And if we can set up separate time for that. Yeah. However, why did you pause meet our contributors? What was the backstory there?
So part of the reasons was we had an issue about this, but the issue has been inactive for some time. And the other reason is what I talked about people are too shy to do video conference than blog posts.
Okay. No, I see what you're saying.
I mean, we can do this at the same time, of course.
Is it? I mean, I just want to discuss a bit more about this. Would it help if we have? I don't know who the host would be, but having a meet our contributor session in a particular language, say Japanese or something, would folks be more comfortable if we do that?
That's a good idea.
I would say that's gonna help. Yeah, sure.
Okay, maybe we could just start with blog posts right now and then eventually move up to having a language specific meet our contributors.
In your blog post, you should also call out this kind of work as far as, hey, we have framework for certain programs, but we're looking for language specific folks. Also, oh my gosh, now that I'm thinking about it, Zach and the Docs team have all of the points of contact for all the localization efforts. So you could use all those folks that, have been working on localization docs and whatnot. And I'm sure they would be able to, or be interested in anyway, in helping out with, being on a Meet Our Contributors show or something like that too. But anyway, I think the blog posts will at least get the word out a little bit more and get you a base of people that will help you scale that kind of a program, because Meet Our Contributors, we usually have 3 to 7 people per episode. Plus some people are in chat, kind of chatting with people as well. So that's pretty much everybody on this call to run kind of one episode. So that's pretty extensive. So I think you do need to grow your base a little bit more for that kind of a program as well. But like Nikita is saying, I think the blog posts and some other things, maybe some other KubeCon related efforts will get you there.
Yep. Anyone have any other points that they'd like to add regarding growing the contributor base in APAC regions?
Did you all talk about the community days?
We have not.
Because that
one of the meetings here, but yeah, not right.
Piyush, can you repeat that?
I was just saying, I mean, I guess we discussed about in one of the meetings earlier, and it's being discussed with some of the community leaders. I guess this Nipendra, Krishna, and Ajit are involved. I guess that's the only update. I talked to Kiran as well. He's also involved in organizing stuff. So I mean, they are just working on.
Yeah. Just to add on that, they are still looking out for more number of, although they have raised a GitHub issue and everything is done. So they have created a Twitter list as far as I know, and there are 5 folks over there for this, and they'll be adding more as volunteers and all that. So yeah, I think we are on track on that. I'll also be part of that.
Okay. There's also an issue set in Cake community right now on a like how to box up a new contributor workshop. Believe it or not, we don't have amazing docs around that. Like you would think we do, but we don't. I feel like I like have signed myself up for that 45 times as an example. And I've given a few already. So I feel like that is definitely a priority for us. So before we go and try to scale it out to like 45 different community days, we should try to get some kind of a template with, I mean, right now we do have a deck that's very extensive that we use for the KubeCons and things like that. But we should try to get some kind of best practices or tips and things like that that people are going to be, want to be aware of during this, so that we as a community too, like as in ContribEx, aren't fielding individual questions from, one-off community days, because it looks like the community days, according to like the GitHub issues, are exploding with cities and things like that. So the last thing we want to do is be triage for new contributor workshops. So I feel like if we box that up, that would be good. So if anybody here has run a new contributor workshop before, definitely look for that issue and get on the team of people that are working on it. There are a few people right now, but it's kind of like, when folks have cycles and not necessarily, a number one priority for people. So take that into consideration is all I'm saying.
That's a good point. Do we know when the Kubernetes community days would be happening in Bangalore?
I don't, but there is a great repo. What I'm gonna get it out right now after I stop talking, so I don't violently type. Yeah, there is a awesome repo that CNCF has about community days where people are like filing issues, and you can kind of follow along with the status of what's going on. And we can look up right now to see what the city is.
I think Piyush just added a link in the meeting notes.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks, Piyush.
Cool. I will follow up on the issue. Thank you. Anything else to add on community days? Okay, Yang, Contributor Summit Shanghai.
So this was back in San Diego too. Josh said he wants me and Puya to do this instead. He have to. So we are trying to get the team up around next month, and all of you on this call, you are welcome to join the team. Stay tuned for that.
Awesome.
I want you and Pooja to run the show. I want it. Where do I sign? I think it'll be great. Nikita, I may have cut you off.
No, that's okay. Are we also going to have like event team leads and shadows for this?
Yes. And Yang, we can help you put that together too. The best thing to do, there are like the last 2 issues that are in the community repo for like building the teams are just really good. You can just copy pasta that and build your team accordingly. Last time, it's been mostly you, Josh, Pooja. Who else? Who's been your core team in the past?
There are a few more. Xiang Peng Zhao and Rui Chen. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I would expect them to either lead or shadow in hopes to like lead again. So I would reach out to them and see what you need. And I know that what you should also do too is make connection with Deb. Obviously, you know Deb from Linux Foundation, and just let her know that you're going to run the show and talk to her about venues. And if you want, we can talk offline too about how to formulate a kind of overarching strategy and where your thoughts are for that community in that region. I'm happy to do whatever you need, whatever advice you need, or whatever guidance you need.
Thank you.
Sounds so exciting. Yeah, if you need any help with it, I'm not sure if I can attend Shanghai, but if you need any help with it, let me know. Anything more to add about Contributor Summit Shanghai? Okay, moving on. Sayam, you have a bunch of items in the agenda. Do you want to talk about them?
Yeah, so KubeCon CFP for Shanghai is open. So go ahead and submit and don't wait for the last date. And even that Google Summer of Code, I think you are one of the mentors with Ahar and Chris. So you can tell better about the Summer of Code. The applications are open for that. And apart from this, the last one is the Contributor Summit Amsterdam CFP is also open. I think till 7th Feb.
Yeah. So regarding Google Summer of Code, the applications for students is not open yet. So the applications just for mentors who want to submit projects, that is open. And yes, I'm definitely a point of contact. And if anyone has any questions, they can ask me. And I will also be spreading more word about it, especially when we so the GSOC process is something like the organization needs to apply for GSOC and Google then accepts the organization. So once we have that thing done, which should kind of like, it's kind of not a problem to get accepted, but once you're officially accepted, it's just easier to spread word more easily. So I will be doing more of that then. But yeah, definitely thank you for like talking about the CFPs that are open. It's so easy to miss them. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Does anyone have any other points that they'd like to add?
Because for this GSOC, I mean, when we select, I mean, I just wanted to know the criteria for the mentorship as well. Once the process gets selected, so let's say the students apply for that, and then those are assigned to the mentors, or how does it work? I'm sorry if I missed that part, if you already talked about it.
Oh, no worries. So the process goes something like this. So CNCF as an organization first applies so that Google can select it as an organization. And once that happens, we can take in projects, ideas from mentors. We can do that even now, and it's even sort of open right now. So mentors, there's a GitHub repo, github.com/cncf/SOC. I'll add a link to the notes in a bit. So mentors can submit project ideas there. Once the student application period opens, students can look at the project ideas and decide which projects they want to work on. So they would reach out to mentors and make some initial contributions. And depending on their initial contributions during this application period, mentors will select interns that they want to work with. And the internship period is like 3 or 4 months. And students basically work on whatever that project idea is. And there are also like 3 evaluations during this internship period. So students are evaluated based on the code they produce and their communication and everything like that. And criteria for mentorship, we don't have a specific criteria. Like if you are working on an upstream feature and you require help with that and it's code related, you can apply to become a mentor. That's not really an issue. And I think like anyone here can become a mentor.
That's good. Thanks.
Sure. Sam, you added something more about office hours. You want to talk
Yeah,
about that?
so yesterday we had Kubernetes office hours. That's actually a great place to get all your queries answered on the current projects that you're working on in your respective organizations. So probably they won't debug your live clusters, but yes, they will guide you in certain way. So there are a set of panelists who will guide you in certain way, like how to debug, what should be the next steps. So it's very good. There's a Slack channel where you post your queries, and set of 5 or 6 panelists are there, and they'll be helping you out over a period of 1 hour, and even follow up after that for the questions that have been posted during that duration. And they have meeting notes, and some of the links also gets posted by people who themselves join, because a lot of knowledgeable folks join these. Also, if you have knowledge and you gather 5 folks who can take the office hours, you can reach out to few of the folks, and you can be one of the panelists for the next office hours. So it's a great place actually.
Yeah, I would definitely second what Sayam just said. George also mentioned that office hours has been very, like the panelists have been very North America and sort of Europe based. So he's looking to also include folks from Asia, and it's just 1 hour per month, the time requirement. So, I mean, you don't also have to do like consecutive months. So just once a month, anytime would be great. So if that sounds interesting, please reach out to anyone in Contribute Experience or specifically George. Great. Does anyone have any other points that they'd like to add? So I just wanted to briefly touch over the blog posts again. So I see like the next item is to create an issue, which Yang would be doing. Do we know which country we want to talk about first in the blog posts?
I'd say we can collect some guests we want to interview, and then we decide based on their where are they from.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Cool. Can you include all of this in the issue, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Okay, looks like that's all that we have on the agenda. Last call for anyone who wants to discuss some point. Okay, I guess that's it. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining us, and see you in 2 weeks. Have a good day.
Thank you all.
everyone.
Have a
Yeah,
nice day.
thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks
Good
everyone.
day.
Bye.